Hi guys, it's Mary McIntyre. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I am editing this actually while I'm away on holiday, and I realised I'd completely failed to record an intro. So hence the still photographs of some screenshots of the project and me just talking over it. So just in brief, I'm going to be making some silicone inlays using my Finnabair apothecary bottle mould, one of my favourite moulds that I own. And I'm using the BBDINO silicone that I got on an Amazon Prime Day deal to do that. Once I've got the silicone inlays, I'm intending to lay them into the back of some resin in a trinket tray and to make a kind of a spooky inlaid apothecary bottle trinket tray. So I've done inlays a couple of times before, but I haven't done it a ton of times. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this turns out. So all the list of all the materials I'm using in this video will be listed in the description box below. So make sure you check that out. Let's get started. So for step one of this project, I'm using equal volumes of part A and B of this silicone rubber. I'm using the BBDINO one this time. It was on offer on Prime Day. So equal parts of both of those, well mixed in this cup, and I am going to pour that into my mould, my potion bottle mould, apothecary bottle mould. So I've given that a mix for about 3 or 4 minutes, and it's starting to get quite bubbly now, so I don't want to mix too vigorously. Okay, I think that's well combined. Part A and B are different colours, so that kind of helps you see how you're getting on. So I'm just going to pour the silicone into here. I just hope that this kind of silicone does not stick to this mould. It's my favourite mould. I should have done a test. So this needs to be left for at least 5 hours, but I'm probably, in all honesty, going to leave it longer than that. Very late tonight before bed, if I wait till about 11 o'clock, midnight, thereabouts, I might be okay to demold them. But I'll have to just see what I think they're looking like. Once you have poured these and let them cure and demolded them, you then have to leave them for 24 hours before you use them in resin, because although they look cured, they will still be degassing and oozing stuff, which can add air bubbles and weird stuff into your resin. So don't use them if you do make inlays. Wait full 24 hours after demold before using them. I think one of these potion bottles as an inlay in a little pendant will actually look really awesome, as well as the trinket tray that I have planned for this. So I'll be back when I'm demolding. I was very relieved that the bottles just came out of this mould really easily. If you're going to do this, please test your mould first. Don't just go in and fill it and hope that the silicone will come out. Certain kinds of silicone will bond to other silicones. So if you do try this, just do it at your own risk. It's better to just mix up a small amount first and test it. But I was lucky, they're really good quality moulds like the Finnabair ones. The silicones that you use in those do tend to come out quite well. Okay, the plan is to put some silicone inlays into resin into this trinket tray. I think I'm going to go with these 5 bottles kind of in a line, and the colours that I'm going to use on the back of the resin are these 3 shades of green mica that I had in my set of many colours. So around the outside, I was looking through my chameleon powders. I want the outside and the background to be chameleon. I'm going with mint because it's got the kind of best tone of green that's going to kind of marry up well with the colour of the bottles. So I'm going to do that around all of the outside, and then nothing on the resin to begin with on the middle. So I'm going to do all of the outside with my brush, and then I'll clean up here. So when the resin goes in, that's going to, I'm just trying to think, 'cause if I use clear resin around there, it's going to be a more subtle colour. I don't really want to have to make a separate colour of resin, but I guess I can split some out and do the outside, because black will show up the chameleon colours better. Okay, go with my original plan. I'm going to go with golden. So I'll get that around the outside, and then I can clean up any overspill. Then I'm going to have to take a little bit of resin out and colour it black so that it shows this colour up better. I have done stuff with clear or white resin with this, and it is very, very subtle. I'm sure it will still look beautiful because these chameleon powders are just gorgeous. So I want all of the lip and up the sides to be this colour, but the very surface of the tray I want clear for now. Oh, it's so beautiful. These chameleon powders are just so good. I haven't used them for a while on my channel, but I have used them a lot in different projects. If I do that bit black, I'm going to have to fill it to there and let it cure first, otherwise it's going to bleed into the layer of clear. So it's going to have to be in 3 layers, which is annoying, but I think it will look better that way, so it'll be worth it. So for this I'm going to use the J. Diction resin. This is a 4-hour demold. Full cure takes 8 hours, but this will be cured enough in a couple of hours for me to come back and do the next layer. And then when I do the layer that's going to have the inlays in, mica powder sticks to resin better if it isn't completely fully cured. So the fast cure stuff I think is going to be best for this, because I'll be able to get the inlays out when it's partly set and get the mica to bind to it really, really well. So I have absolutely no idea how much resin it's going to take to put that in there. So I'm just going to quickly mix up a small batch of that. Obviously I'm going to go and put my PPE on and mix that up and get that poured into just the outside bit, and try not to make a huge amount of mess. Yeah, or make far too much resin, which is what I usually do. Okay, I'll be back when I've mixed. So I started pouring this black resin in there really slowly so that it would creep along the edge and not trap any air bubbles. I got part way round and my brain just derped, and I just put far too much in there. It needs a minimal amount to just cover that rim, so I had to go in with my silicone scraper and just try to scoop some out. Not ideal. It did leave a bit of residue on the surface of the tray, which I am going to have to polish out afterwards, but yeah, you can clean up. If you have a silicone tool, you can scoop stuff out if you need to, and that is very much what I had to do with this one. If it had been clear, I could have got away with it, but the black had to go and scoop that off the top bit. So 4 hours later, I mixed up a bit of clear. I think I mixed up about 40 mils of clear here. I could have done with a little bit more, in all honesty, but it was about 4 hours after the first layer, and this time I hit it quite hard with the heat gun because I really didn't want any bubbles, and this resin is quite bubbly because it is a fast cure. So I then very carefully laid the inlays down, and once they were in place, I was just using a cocktail stick to gently push them around and get them in place. Because this resin is quite gloopy, once they were in place, they didn't move too much, so that was great. Left those to cure for a few hours.
I've got a feeling that this resin is not quite deep enough for these inlays. When I put them in, suddenly it felt like they were hitting the bottom of the tray. If that's the case, game over. There's nothing I can do because there's just going to be a bottle with no front. So I don't know. I think I should be able to demold the inlays now so I can have a look and see where I'm at. Just being gentle because the resin won't be fully hard yet. That one I think is okay. I think it was that big one possibly. Alright, do the other small ones. That one's good. That one's good. Oh, I really hope this has worked. Oh, it's okay. Phew. Right, that is a relief. Okay, I'm so happy about that. Okay, awesome. So I've still been umming and ahhing over what colour to do the bottles, whether to do them all the same colour. I think it would be nice if they're different colours, but I'm also thinking about clashes with regards to the background. But I think I'm going to do at least 2 shades of green. They're going to be backed with black, so they'll be nice and vivid. I really like this dark green. That is a really deep bottle green, so I think I'm going to use that for at least 2. I think I'm going to do this one. Should do the labels a different colour really, but hopefully the resin will take the powder okay. It was very sticky when I last looked, but I've been packing to go on holiday and I lost track of time. The resin is cured too much, the mica won't stick properly. So on the clear resin, this is looking really pale green. Hopefully it will look dark when the background gets on there. Obviously I've managed to flick green in the background, but that's okay because I'm going to smush loads of colours together for the background, so I will try to clean up as best I can. Is that taking not amazingly well? Right, I'm going to do one more in that colour. This one. I am going to go with this one on the outside too. I think for this middle one I'm going to go with one of the colour shift powders, purely because it's got all those faceted surfaces, and if I go with the colour that I've done the outside of the tray, it should blend. Did I go with golden? I think I did. So the colour shift will give it just a hint of something else. I may regret doing this, but in black background this does have a very green kind of tilt to it, so hopefully it won't clash with the colours that I decide to put in the back. I love the chameleon powders in these bottles because it just picks up the texture, it picks up the colours. That's the bottles done. Now, I am scared of using sellotape around the outside of these bottles because the resin is not going to be fully cured yet. So I'm just going to hope that when I blob the other colours on around the background that it'll just kind of smush in and make a kind of mottled background. So I'm thinking of going with colours that are not green so that we've got contrast, but stuff that will look nice with green. So I don't want to go with anything that's green. I quite like the idea of going with magenta, that would be nice. Champagne, magenta, maybe some of the teal. Oh, the plum would be nice as well. Kind of tempting to just kind of do a bit of everything. It might end up being a bit of a hodgepodge, but I kind of like the idea of just going for it with different colours. So if I go in and just tap it down first and then I can blend it in afterwards.
So I just went through all the colours in turn and just blobbed piles of them on there, and then I went in with my brush and just sort of tapped and smushed everything together. I wanted to avoid harsh edges between the colours. I wanted everything to be super blended, and I knew that the resin wasn't bonding too well to the pigment, so I deliberately used swirling brush strokes as my final step so that that swirling would become part of the background design.
Just tap the very, oh, that is going to be so patchy, but that's okay. Just tap that to get the really excess loose stuff off. So now I need to fill this tray up, and I'm going to do that with black, and I am once again going to use the J-Diction Fast Cure purely for speed so that it will be cured in the morning when I get up. I'm going to hit it with the heat gun again because that helped with the bubbles. It was quite impressive actually. This resin is very bubbly when you first mix it because it's super thick, because it's a fast cure resin. But when I poured it, I could see it degassing really well. So hopefully there are not any big bubbles around the lip, because I was worried about disturbing the mica powder. You can sometimes leave a mark and it just doesn't look great. For that layer I did 40 mils of resin, about a centimetre deep, so let me measure that again and just calculate it just so I can make sure I don't miss it. It was 8. So I'm gonna mix up 100 ml of resin. Okay guys, it's ready to demold. I am so excited to see how this looks. I've tried to avoid peeping underneath. But yeah, the resin is cured fine overnight, so that's no problem. This is quite a multi-layered process with the 3 layers in the tray, making the silicone inlays. Hopefully it will all be worth it. Okay, are we ready? Oh, wow! I need to polish the top. Oh my gosh! Oh, that is insane! It looks like crushed velvet. Oh my goodness. The mould is not perfect, so I do need to polish the top there. There are some imperfections, but oh my gosh. Oh. Can you see that? It's hard to get it because it's so shiny, but oh my word. Just pops of different colour where I just kind of swirled all those micas together. It looks like some kind of crushed velvet. The bottles are dark, but that's okay. They stand out against the background. That's so cool. Oh my gosh. I am so happy with that. In my brain, this is kind of how I wanted it to turn out. I thought I'd messed up. I didn't mess up. That is absolutely gorgeous. Oh my god. Just get my de-burring tool and just run around the edge here. Just to get that real sharp bit off. I honestly just could not be happier with that. That is insane. The chameleon powder on the outside looks gold in one angle, green in another, and I think it works perfectly. I think it would have been nice darker. I think having a slightly darker background or outline would have been nice, but I'm really not mad at it at all. It'd have been nice just black actually, but the colour shift on that is pretty cool. It is quite dark green in some angles. That's amazing. Let me bring you down, see if I can get a better angle close up this way. Oh my god. That's just so cool. So cool. Let's see my reflection. So hopefully you can see the colour shift here. It goes like a really dark green at that angle. I love it. Absolutely love it. I hope you do too. Thank you so much for watching, guys. That silicone, the BBDINO silicone, was a dream to use. No problems at all. The 4-hour cure resin was fine when I hit it with the heat gun to get rid of the bubbles. All good. Everything just worked a dream. I'm so happy with that. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one. Bye.